Well, so in about 2 days, I believe. Is it 2 days? Is it 2 days? Yeah, in 2 days, I will be buying the Hori Turbo controller specifically for my Switch, so that I can grind the Academy Ace tournament, so that I can actually, get a bunch of money, be able to, so though if they add more clothing options to, what do you call it? Add more clothing options to, when my brain decides to actually catch up, for the Indigo disc, I can be able to buy them. And not to mention though that I can also do it specifically for the teal mask ones too. So though, like, if it's too much for me to buy with, I think I have 1,000,000 Poké Dollars right now. Uh, I'll have that as a backup. So, right for that nonsense, pretty much, right? The only other thing I can think of right now that's actually needing of updating is that no, I think that's it. To be honest. Oh, by the way, I have gotten an update on the. I think I might have said it here. I may have said it on Pokemon Crystal. I may be wrong on this, but I did send an email to a seller of a homebrew Nintendo Switch service last weekend. Yeah, last weekend on Sunday at like 5 in the morning because I was up at 5 in the morning, and I sent them a message and I didn't hear back from them, and just randomly out of the blue on Thursday, I thought maybe I should check my spam folder. So I checked my spam folder and they replied within 3 hours of me sending my questions. And I was like, why is this in the spam folder in general? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I got to reply to them because they gave me an extra question to ask, which is weird. Um, oh, yes, a town. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, so they gave me an extra question to ask pretty much. So I'm going to go ask them that. And yeah. So pretty much whenever they, so hopefully that they'll answer me pretty quick like they did before. I mean, within 3 hours is not that bad. They must not either. Their homebrew like Nintendo Switch selling game pretty much is not that much. Like it's not like a booming business pretty much, but like still though, like it's very expensive for where I am. Pretty much it's probably like about I think it's like $100 or something like that. I think more than what you would spend in the U.S. I think it's like $500. I think in the U.S. or something like that. But in Canada, where I am, oh my word, it's like almost $1,000 to get like the maximum like capacity like micro SD card, which is a terabyte for it. And I'm just like sitting here going like, are you freaking joking? Like that's a lot of money for just a micro SD card. So that's why one of my questions was, hey, if I buy the cheapest one that you guys have, which is 128 gigs, which is really interesting, can I upgrade it on my own? And they're like, yes, but you can, but we're gonna need to have like I can either send you a detailed guideline of it, or like we could have a video or voice chat, and then you can do it. It's like, oh, okay. And another one was about, I think the other question was about shipping information, or not shipping information, but like shipping time, like how long will it take for it to be into like from US to Canada pretty much. And they just told me that it'll take about, I think, extra 10 days or something like that. So I was like, that's not that bad. I don't mind. It's not a matter of like, hey, it's a lot of money. It's like I understand though, like for the original version of the Nintendo Switch, there's a very limited stock of it. So like them trying to be very sensible about it, but also trying to earn money from actually being able to get more to so that they can sell more kind of thing. Like I understand that, but like it's almost like I could get two OLED like Nintendo Switches with the same amount of cost, pretty much. Actually, I don't know how much the OLED one costs where I am, but I know for the fact that the original one, I could buy two of them and I'd still have money. I still have a little bit of chump change left over. Oh, also, I'll be upgrading my Nintendo Switch micro SD card storage, which is pretty much how my tablet's micro SD storage is being updated. Pretty much, is that I'm going to be upgrading my Nintendo Switch. So right now, my Nintendo Switch is at 512 gigs. I know this is a stupid decision, but I'm going to be upgrading it to 1 TB, even though I don't really need to. And the worst part about it is that I'm going to be upgrading it to be the SanDisk special Nintendo Switch branded ones, which I know, very stupid, but you know what? They look cool, and you know what? The 1 TB one looks actually pretty nice. The one thing I don't understand though is that like they don't go with multiple designs for different versions, which is very sad for like for me to see it too. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there are different versions of the SanDisk one. Like one will be Animal Crossing, one will be Legend of Zelda theme, and then one will be like Mario theme. But yet for like I understand though for different versions, it's good to know. Like if you see the Mario one, you're like that only comes in 128 gigs. So the fact that this one's selling it for 256 is a lie. It's a sham. But again though, why is there like why is there in need of why is there there's a Mario Mushroom one, I think that's only 128 gigs or something like that. It's 128 or 256 gigs. But why doesn't it go up to 512? We know there's a 512 SanDisk version. That's I think Animal Crossing, or the 1 TB, which is what I'm going to be getting, which is Legend of Zelda themed. Like, why isn't there a Mario themed one? Why isn't there an Animal Crossing one themed? Like, this is the kind of thing though that like I don't understand in my own sort of way. Is that like I don't understand why they don't just why they limit it to the amount of like this shenanigans pretty much. Oh, the only benefit between the Nintendo Switch, or no, the only benefit of me getting the other version is that I'm getting a slightly faster card by like 70 megabytes, I think, or something like that, 60, 70 megabytes, and it's cheaper. I think the one that I saw was like with adapter as well, so you can connect it to your computer and stuff like that. So same capacity, higher speed, and lower cost. That's the difference. But it's just a basic SanDisk design with it. I think it's just gray and red, which is not really my favorite. So unfortunate. It's like light gray and red, I think. Not a great looking card, to be honest. But hey. But I also understand why the ones that are like the Nintendo Switch ones cost more. Is that because they have a brand going behind it as well, kind of thing? So like not only are you buying a SanDisk product, but you're also getting one that's backed by Nintendo at the same time. So you're getting like double the brand, and not only that though, there's heavy restrictions on the cards themselves, so that they will work specifically for one device, which is very dumb, to be honest. They shouldn't necessarily have it that way, if that makes sense. So they shouldn't have it so though they shouldn't have it so though like these SanDisk drives will only work like this SanDisk drive is specifically only for the Nintendo Switch. It's like, wait, why? Like, why don't you make the SanDisk drive work with every other device that's out there instead of just making it specifically for the Nintendo Switch? Which is true, it works for all devices. Like, which is not true. It does work for all devices though, but the speeds probably aren't the greatest for the other devices though. Because again, they specifically downgraded the speeds so that it would only be beneficial to the Nintendo Switch. And it's not saying though, that like if you were to get the non Nintendo Switch one, it's not going to work. It is, but the system itself throttles the actual speeds of the card itself. So it will only take the benefits of the let's say 80 megabyte read and write, pretty much. It's kind of like how I questioned about my old tablet, because I wanted to upgrade its micro SD card from, I think it was 64 gig. I think at that time it was either 32 or 64, I think. But at that time I didn't really have much money to throw in on cards like that, so before I bought a 256 gig card for that tablet, I wanted to make sure that the tablet would be able to load that space. So I look at the original Amazon seller page, pretty much, or the original like product page, pretty much, and it said that it holds up to 200 gigs of the micro SD storage. Okay. But what does it mean by up to 200? That doesn't make any sense to me. Because it's either 128 or it's 256. There's no in between. So I got very confused by this. So I went to the customer support of the tablet company that I had, which was Samsung, which is what this one is too, Samsung. So I went to Samsung's support page, and then they told me that first of all, I'm contacting them about a Canadian product instead of an American product. So they had no information for me. I was very confused because I thought I was on the Canadian page. But I asked if they could still help me in a way, and they said, nope, we cannot. We can only tell you to go to the Canadian page. So I go, okay, can you direct me to them? So I think he said he could. I think they said they couldn't, or they said like it's not that hard to get to there. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I went to the Canadian page. And so I asked the guy on the Canadian part the same question, which is this. If I were to install a 256 drive on this tablet model, pretty much, because I'm thinking of getting a 256 gigabyte thing. So I have a question, is that, like, of the interaction of what would happen if I were to install this said micro SD card. Will it either not work in general because it is too over the capacity, or will it work but you can't go over the, like, you can't, like, it'll only have 200 gigabytes accessible, so you'll just lose out on the 56 gigs pretty much. And I can't remember exactly what response he had. I think he said like it was like you'll just lose the 56 gigs, and I said, oh, okay, thank you. Either way, it was worth having, because if I were to get the 128, it was like, what, saving $10, I think. So I was like, there's no point saving $10 for, like, and plus it's not like I was going to keep the tablet for too long. I was going to upgrade it anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So I chose to upgrade my tablet storage to that, and then it worked. It loaded all, guess what, 256 gigs. So even that employee didn't even know what was going on. So I was even more confused. But I said, whatever. I loaded everything I wanted on that drive, and that's as far as I care. Did I really need 256 gigs? No. I just wanted to make sure, though, like, the drive was as big as it can possibly be. Like, even this new tablet can store up to, like, a terabyte. And I'm only going to go half the capacity of that. But if I ever do want to upgrade it, I have seen SanDisk having their 1 terabyte thing for only like $120. So it's not that big of a deal. that's like I think $50 less than I think spending on just this tablet alone. So it's also weird though because like for that original tablet, it was years ago though, so it's a little bit more biased kind of thing of how much I spent for it. But I think now it would probably be worth like $50, kind of like $50 kind of thing. But like for now, but back then it was like $200. I think it was like $200, and the case that I got for it was like $20 as well. So for $220, I got like not I don't want to say small tablet. It's like I don't really know how to word it though, to be honest. That doesn't sound like it's too small. Deep ocean. Yeah. Ow. Jerk. Not really seeing any cool gravel. Come on, drop down.